session, and after that I will go with some examples of sample POs and COs, and with an sample calculation. And after that, as I have discussed with Dr. Ramesh sir, that we are going to take this session as a in a kind of workshop. So we'll give some simple problems to the faculty members, and they will try to brainstorm and try to answer this. I think in this way, so this session may be a fruitful one. So I'm sharing my screen. Shadambara ma'am, is my screen visible to everybody?
No, sir.
Okay,
No, sir. Your skin. We can't. Yes, yes. Now it is visible, sir.
visible. Okay, okay. Just a minute.
Yes, sir. You can proceed.
Okay, the slide is visible, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is the recapitulation of the last week. What we have covered, that how to attain the PO and what is the workflow. The workflow, basic workflow is that first, based on the university's vision and mission, we have to create the school level mission and vision, and then department level mission and vision. Now to achieve the department level mission and vision, we have to create the program outcome. Now the program outcome may be multiple if we are running multiple number of programs under the same department. Like the UG program and PG program, both the program outcome will be different. Now we have to, for each of the program, there are several courses. Now for each of the courses, the subject matter expert, means the faculty, has to clear design the course outcome of that particular course. And we told that if it is a credit 3 credit course, then the 4 course outcome is sufficient enough. If it is a 4 credit course, then 5 to 6. You can extend up to 6 course outcome. And if it's a PG, it is better to create design 6 course outcome. Okay, so it will be helpful for you for better POCO mapping, or to create the POCO articulation matrix, and to attain the POs. Now, how to attain the POs? That there are two techniques. One is that through direct assessment, another is through indirect assessment. The direct assessment is that you can attain that one through the unit test question paper, exam, midterm, and the final year exams question paper, assignments, projects. And the indirect is that the through the survey of the concurrent stakeholders, like the by taking the survey related to your course outcome, from the students, from the alumni, from the recruiter, and from the parents, and even from the exit or the pass out students also. Now we have the weightage for the indirect assessment and the direct assessment is different. For the direct assessment, it should be 80% weightage should be given, and for the indirect assessment, 20% weightage can be given to verify the whether your PO is attained or not. Now I am giving some sample COs that I have collected from the various educator. So this is one of the sample CO of Introduction to Algorithm Design. So this is the PG level course offered by Professor Partha Pratim Chakraborty. He is the ex-director of IIT KGP. So you can see the how he has written the PO, and where he has included multiple numbers of Bloom's taxonomy parameters. The first PO is written, first CO is written that given an English language problem description, define the problem precisely with input-output requirements, examine its inherent complexity, and develop a generic
Sajal, your mic is muted. Sajal, your mic is muted.
Yeah. Now you can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so till now, whatever I have told, it is not audible to
No.
anybody.
Last 1 minute.
Yes, I'm sorry, sir. Okay, so shall I start from the beginning again?
Only this slide you can start.
Oh, okay, from this slide I can start, right? Okay, I'm extremely sorry that my mic is muted. I could not recognize that one. Anyway, so actually, in the first 10 minutes, I have discussed about the recapitulation of the last week classes. That over last week sessions, that what is the total entire workflow of PCO attainment. Okay, now here I am giving some examples of the different educators, how they have created the COs and what are the things they have incorporated at the time of designing the CO. So one sample course outcome that I have taken from the Professor Parthapratim Chakraborty of IIT Kharagpur. He is the ex-director of IIT Kharagpur. So he has designed the Introduction to Algorithm Design. It's a PG level course. Mind it, the PG level course CO will be completely different from the UG level course CO. Now, what he has tried that he tried to incorporate multiple number of Bloom's taxonomy parameter within the single CO. Like in the first example that he has written that the given an English language problem description, define the problem precisely with the input output requirements, examine its inherent complexity and develop a generic or set of initial solutions which can be explored for various design options and justify their correctness. Now look at this, he has incorporated define, develop and justify within the same single CO. So I should say that this is an expert writing, expert designer, expert educationist who can at the time of writing this, designing the CO, can incorporate multiple number of parameters. But I'm not telling that everybody has to do the same practice. It will come as a practice after practicing and designing multiple number of COs for multiple number of courses. Now for the initially what we can do that we'll write in just a single word what the course outcome from the each and individual units we can achieve. Means that generally for the 3 credit courses we have 4 units or 5 units. Now from each unit what kind of course outcome we can achieve. It may also happen that multiple units can give you the same course outcome. We'll do that and put it over there. We don't try to incorporate multiple number of COs that Dr. Parthapratim Chakraborty has tried to do that. Don't try to do it initially. We can do it later on. Okay, so this is one of the example I have given. And another thing also we have to keep it in mind that what course outcome the IIT Kharagpur faculty can achieve from their students through their resources. We cannot expect that much of course outcome. Our course outcome may be different, and that will be dependent on our students category and what type of resources we have, infrastructure we have, and what type of mission, vision, and objective that we are going to achieve by offering these courses. Okay, now the relationship between PO and CO. So how to define the relationship between the PO and CO? Now the number of POs, these are well defined, and as I already have told that the Washington Accord there are 12 well defined POs are there. Now with that POs we have to make the articulation matrix, that is the relationship between POs and COs. Now first we have to identify the COs of each courses on a given problem, then attainment of desired discipline expertise and attainment of all POs. It is not like that from a single course outcome we can attain all the program outcome. It is not possible at all, because you might have you can remember that we have 12 PO, out of this PO 6, PO 7, PO 9. So these are the specific POs which can be attainable through some specific subjects. Like one PO is that to improve the communication skill. So to improve the communication skill, so this technical or core paper will not be the perfect or the targeted paper through which we can improve the communication skill. Or another POs is that through that particular PO we can understand the impact of the professional engineering solution in societal and environmental context. So for that we have some specific subjects through which we can attain that particular PO, or the PO 8, which tells you that apply the critical principles and commit to professional ethics and responsibility, the norms of the engineering practice. So this PO can be attained through the course of principles of ethics. So we cannot expect that from a single course we can achieve all the POs, but we will try to see that what are the other POs that we can achieve. So that we have to find it out. Now, after finding it out, we have to quantify it in the point level of 3. Some of the universities are trying to quantify it in a point level of 100, means that out of 100%, how much PO it is being met. Means if it is fully met, then we will give 3 marks, 3 point. If it is partially met, we will give 2 point. If it is poorly met, we will give 1 point. Or if this CO is not meeting the PO requirement, that case it will be blank. Or in the 100-point scale, that means how much percentage it is meeting. If it is fully meeting, then we will give you 100%. If it is partially meeting, we may give 75%, or 50%, or poorly meet 25%, like this. So that benchmark, the university level, we have to fix it up. Now coming to the Bloom's taxonomy, already Ramesh sir has discussed, and even most of the faculties are aware about the Bloom's taxonomy, that through which it's basically provide you the cognitive level of achievement from the courses. This means that from by offering this course, what kind of students cognitive level we can achieve. Means that in the Bloom's taxonomy level 1, we can achieve the lower cognitive level, like the remembering, recognizing, like this. Bloom's taxonomy 2, we can achieve the lower cognitive level, like understanding what the facts means. And the upper 3 is the create, evaluate, and analyze, is the upper cognitive domain. So through Bloom's taxonomy, they have divided the different cognitive domain, and they try to incorporate all those cognitive domain in a single course, that how much the students have achieved through the different types of different levels of cognitive domains. So this part I'm not going into detail. So these are the program outcome that you need to remember every time at the time of designing your course outcome also, because this will be the sample one, until and unless the university level or the school level it is decided that we need to incorporate more POs, but these 12 POs will remain fixed. Now I am giving one sample course outcome that is my course. At the time of designing my course structure and course file, I have created this course outcome, which you cannot compare with the course outcome that has been written by Dr. PPC. Okay, so in that computer architecture and organization course outcome, the first CO1 is that recognize the basic organization of computer and different instruction format and addressing mode that the students can and at the time of writing this course outcome, you need to identify that what level of cognitive domain in terms of Bloom's taxonomy it may achieve. That means that it is basically remembering. Entire thing is the remembering kind of thing. So it is achieving the Bloom's taxonomy 1. Now coming to CO2. It is just analyze the concept of pipelining, segment register, and pin diagram of CPU. So those who are the CSC faculty members, they may have seen that in the unit 3 or 4 we are offering this portion through which we can get the course outcome 2. and it is, and you can see that what parameters, what cognitive domain I have written over here, the analyze. The analyze is a part of Bloom's taxonomy 4. So here you need to map which Bloom's taxonomy cognitive domain you are going to achieve through that particular course outcome. CO3 is the understand and analyze the various issues related to the memory hierarchy. So this is basically is going to achieve the Bloom's taxonomy 2, cognitive domain 2 of Bloom's taxonomy. And CO4 is evaluate various modes of data transfer between CPU and IO devices. So as it is an evaluate, means apprise, argue, defend, judge, evaluate, select. These are the part of the upper cognitive domain of Bloom's taxonomy level 5. And even course outcome 5 also evaluate various interconnection structures of multiple processor. Now, so these are the different CO that we are going to achieve from that particular single course, and what are the level of Bloom's taxonomy we are going to achieve. So mind it, here we are going to achieve BT1, BT2, BT4, BT5, and only BT5 only. Okay. Now in Bloom's taxonomy you have 6 level. Out of this 6 level we are going to achieve only 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 levels we are going to achieve. So here from that one we are not going to achieve BT4 and BT3 also, sorry, BT6 also. So it is not a problem, but the one thing you need to keep it in mind that for an UG course, at the time of designing of your CO, you need to be careful that the lower cognitive, you should give more emphasis on achieving the lower cognitive domain rather than the upper cognitive domain. And at the time of designing the CO of the PG course, you have to give more emphasis of achieving the upper cognitive domain rather than the lower cognitive domain. So these are basically the thumb rules. There are such kind of rules are not written anywhere, but whenever you will see the different course outcomes of the different educators, you can analyze and you can find out that they have designed the course outcomes such like that. Even the PPC course that I have seen shown to you, here also you can find out that PPC has tried to achieve the upper cognitive domain mostly rather than the lower cognitive domain. I am going to that particular CO. You can see that define, develop, analyze, explore, compare, design. So all are the part of the upper cognitive domain. There is no remember, there is no understand, there is no apply. So is this clear or I need to explain it again? If there is any question, please you can ask me. I will show you some example. Is there any question?
So Dr. Sajal, we can, after you show the example, then maybe if anybody has got a question, they can ask, I think, after you show the example.
Sure. Okay. Now, yes, this is the relationship of the PO, CO and course articulation matrix of the same CO that I have designed. So I will share you that slide also. Now, so through CO1, you can see it is recognize the basic organization of computer and different instruction format and the addressing modes. So through which we can achieve the engineering knowledge, we can achieve the problem analysis technique, we can achieve the use of the modern tools, we can achieve the lifelong learning. So that is why we have written PO1, PO2, PO7, PO5 and PO12. So in this way, you need to find out from the PO also what POs it is trying to achieve. And not only that, how much relevant or how much in terms of 3-point scale, you have to identify, you have to quantify it that how much relevant this PO-CO mapping. If it is mostly relevant, that case you can give 3. If it is moderate relevant, you can give 2. If it is poorly justifiable or relevant, then you can give 1. And if it is not relevant at all, you can leave the space blank. So in this way, so we are putting that CO1 is mapped with 1, 2, 7, 5 and 12. So you have to give the justification level in the point, 0.3 scale to CO1 PO1, CO1 PO2, CO1 PO5. Then okay, PO7 I have not written actually. Actually PO7 it is written wrong. It will not be. So this one is wrongly given because it is I think environment or something like that. So forget about this one. The PO7 will not be achieved. And PO12. Now PO12 is not fully justified because it's a lifelong learning. So lifelong learning in all courses. So whatever be you are offering, so it should be a part of lifelong learning only, because the entire engineering course basic objective is to make the students learn how to learn. Okay, so you can give PO12, but it will not be fully relevant with any one of your may not be relevant with any one of your COs. So in this way, you have to prepare the course articulation matrix. So in these cases, if you have any confusion, you can brainstorm with your fellow faculty members also. Okay, so this Bloom's taxonomy entire part I'm not going through because it is self-explanatory kind of thing. So what I'm going to do is that I'm showing some illustrative example of one course of basic electrical circuits. So in the basic electrical circuits, one course outcome is written as per the self-assessment report. I have taken it from one self-assessment report, that ability to apply the laws of physics through modeling of electromagnetic fields phenomenon as lambda parameters circuit elements, means that whatever the circuit elements is given through which I should grow the ability to apply my laws of physics. Okay, now in this case, as it is going to achieve the apply the laws of physics, so here the POC matching is very high. So at the time of designing your question also, you need to take care of that to attain the particular CO as well as the PO. The question also should be like this. Now I am here showing you the particular questions, that here it has given that two capacitors are there and one capacitor is charged with V volts and the other capacitor C2 is fully discharged in the fully discharged state. Now the question is the switch S closed at t equal to 0. Now you have to determine the energy dissipated in R at t equal to infinity. So this question is given from these subjects, and you need to find out that whether CO1 is achieved or not, and if it is being achieved, then what PO also we can map it. Now at the time of analyzing the question from the educator's point of view, you need to think about, does the question require just memory recall? Now it is not about memory recall. Now can it be solved by direct application of textbook material? No, you cannot get it from the direct textbook material. You have to apply your logic. You need to know the laws of physics of conservation of energy, and after that you have to apply it. Okay, now does it requires you to frame the problem in the appropriate context? Yes. Now applying your knowledge, you have to apply the knowledge of math science to arrive at a solution of the and you need to know the laws of conservation of energy and electrical charges. Now so if it is help you to apply your knowledge, that case what Bloom's taxonomy level, what BT level you are going to achieve? Can you tell me? BT1 to BT6. In this case, I can help you out by showing you the Bloom's taxonomy diagram again. Yeah. Now, can anybody? Which BT level I am going to achieve through this question? Okay, I am telling you. So it's an apply, na? So we are applying our logic. We are applying here the laws of conservation of electrical energy and physics, right? So that part you need to think of. So your CO1 through this question, you are going to achieve CO1 as well as you need to find out that this CO is mapped with what POs. Now, yes. Now, the second one that again, how to attain that particular COs. That case, what you have to do that you have to ask the question: was the CO is attained? For that, you need to look at the answer script. Means that how many students have attempted that question, how many students have understood the question, and how many students have solved it correctly. Now, if 60% of more students have attended this question, that case you can give out of point level 3. You can quantify it as it has been attained up to CO2 in a quantified scale. You can give it as a 2. If 80% or more students have attempted this question as well as they have solved it correctly, that case you can give 3 again. So that you need to think that how many students have attempted these questions and how much marks they have got. Now another CSC examples I am showing you. So these are the different Bloom's taxonomy cognitive level and what type of question it may be. So this one I am not going into details because the what should be the CSC remember level question, what should be the CSC understand level question. So I have given some examples over here, but I don't think we need to discuss all those things. These are self-explanatory only. Let us discuss some questions and how they are going to achieve the CO and PO. Like here another examples of a course operating systems, which is an UG level course. Here the COs are first CO is that comprehensive introduction to understand and apply the underlying principles, techniques and approaches. Now here you can see that the two Bloom's taxonomy cognitive parameters we are using. One is understand, another is apply. Understand is BT2 Bloom's taxonomy level 2 and apply is BT3 Bloom's taxonomy level 3. Now here you can see that it is achieving BT2 and BT3 as well as PO1. PO1 is the engineering knowledge. So through which we are going to achieve the engineering knowledge only. So at the time of writing your CO1, if you write that what PO it is going to achieve and also what BT it is going to achieve, so it will help you to design and achieve the PO-CO attainment perfectly. Now for the CO2 again, the CO2 is written that master functions, structures and history of operating system. So it is basically an understand level only. So it is also going to achieve PO1. Now going to CO3. CO3 is very interesting. So it is that identifying the design issues associated with the operating system. So we have a design and identify. So it is going to as it identify is basically remember that is the BT1 lower cognitive domain of Bloom's taxonomy, and as well as design is a part of BT5 that is the upper cognitive domain of Bloom's taxonomy, that is evaluate. Okay, and at the same time it is going to achieve the PO3. What is written in the PO3? That is design and development of a solution. Now going to CO4. CO4 is the master various process management concept including scheduling, synchronization and deadlock. Now it is basically giving you an analysis because after that you are going to analyze the different process management concept. So it is going to achieve the BT4 of Bloom's taxonomy, as well as it is going to achieve PO4. PO4 is the conduct investigation of any complex problem. So this program outcome you are going to achieve. Okay, so after designing this CO, what are the points to remember? Remember is that what are the BT you are going to achieve. You are going to achieve BT1 from CO3, you are going to achieve BT2 from CO2, you are going to achieve BT4 from CO4, as well as you are going to achieve BT2 and BT3 only. So basically we are going to achieve BT1, 2, 3 and 4. Now can you already I have told that for the UG course you have to give more emphasis on the lower cognitive domain of Bloom's taxonomy. So here we are achieving the lower cognitive domain of the Bloom's taxonomy, isn't it? Are you convinced with that? I am showing you another example through which we are going to achieve the upper cognitive domain of the Bloom's taxonomy. Now earlier we have shown you the operating systems which is an UG level course. Now I am showing you another example of advanced operating system which is the consequence or which is a part of the operating systems in an advanced level which we are going to offer in the PG level. Okay. Now here our CO1 is be familiar with the multi-threading, which is basically an analyze, and we are going to achieve PO4. And CO2 is master the concepts of memory management, including virtual memory. So here also we are going to achieve BT3, that is apply. And CO3 is the master issues related to file system interface and implementation and disk management, which is basically again apply. CO4 apply, and even CO5 also BT2 and BT3. So here you can see that we are going to achieve BT2, BT3, BT4 only. So we are going to achieve the not the BT5 and BT6, but we are given emphasis mostly on BT3 and BT4. That is the upper cognitive domain of Bloom's taxonomy. So these are the two examples. There are several other examples are also there. As we will discuss more on those different types of examples and brainstorm and try to find out the rationale behind why this CO has been taken, and if you at the time of designing this, it is not like that blindly you take it from website and copy it, so it is not going to work. You have to brainstorm. And at the time of designing that one, you have to keep several constraints in your mind, that which BT level it is going to achieve and which PO level it is going to achieve. And after designing all the course outcome of all the courses, the department has to sit together, department BOS committee has to sit together to check that whether all the POs are achieved properly or not. Initially, I am not talking about the attainment. At the time of attainment, automatically it will come out that whether all the POs have achieved or not. But if you find out that for the first 2 or 3 semesters, you are not going to achieve the PO level more than 2 in the point scale of 3. That case, you need to think of changing your syllabi. You need to think of changing your teaching learning methodologies. So and also whenever you are going to show those course outcome and to the compliance agencies, so you are not going to get good marks. So it is always better at the time of designing, if you discuss and collaborate with your fellow faculty members. Now I am showing you one sample course file that I have created earlier 3 years back, and I have shared it with the other faculty members also that time. So I am showing you the same thing so that those who are new can follow this one. Even that will be decided by the school level, decided in the school level, as well as also Dr. Lognathan is the best person to check that whether we should follow this course file or not. But it's a sample one. You can change it also. Because different schools are different universities are using different types of course file, but the basic objective, that the basic things should be there, but the format may be different. Here your syllabus should be there. These parts are already, I think, at the time of designing this course file, you are doing this, and your school level program outcome should be there. This is the sample program outcome. So as already I told that 12 sample program outcome is already decided, and it is in the Washington Accord. So that time we have included another extra program outcome, that is program outcome 13. So which is not available in other universities, that is the industry readiness. We have written that to prepare for the students for cloud computing and business analytics professional as per the current requirement of industry in collaboration with the industry. So this program outcome may not be there in the other program. Now this course outcome already I have discussed, and the mapping of this course outcome with the program outcome also I have shown to you. Now how this mapping of COPO is being attained, that I am going to show you. And also at the time of whenever you are showing the different units of your syllabi, you also have to show that which unit is attaining which CO, and whether ultimately all the units are going to achieve all the COs or not. So here you can see that from CO1 to CO5 all are being achieved. So next is the interesting thing, that for each of the unit test question paper, whenever you are writing this question, one copy you are submitting it to controller of exam, and another copy whenever you are putting it in your course file, you have to write that unit 1 it is mapping with CO1, which CO as well as which Bloom's taxonomy level. So for each of the questions you have to write it, and that from the rest of the questions I have not kept it blank. The Bloom's taxonomy level I have not written. So as I thought that I should give this portion to you so that you solve it and we can discuss that which Bloom's taxonomy level we should put it over here. So in this way I think this session will be more fruitful. So in the again the unit wise question I have given all the COs and the BTs. Now after the preparing the question paper, several universities are there. They will not they are not going to, moderator is not going to accept the question if the question wise CO and BT level is not mentioned. Means that question number 1 which CO is going to achieve and which BT level is going to achieve and how much marks you are allotting. So until and unless you put this one, it will not be considered by the moderator. Moderator job is not only to check that whether all the questions are given with the marks and the total marks is same or not, the formatting. So they also need to think that find out or check that whether all the questions, through all the questions we are going to achieve all the COs or not, and whether the most of the BTs, the whatever BTs are mentioned as list in your COs, whether these are going to be achieved or not. Now coming to the direct course assessment sheet through which we are going to achieve the PO. Now here you can see that all the students are there. And you have to create that sheet. Right now also you are maintaining the same kind of sheet at the time of submitting it to the controller. So which question, which students have attained how much marks. That question paper 1 is basically an MCQ type of question. So you this MCQ type of question you cannot expect that it is going to achieve a particular CO. It is basically achieving the mixing of all the COs. So you don't have to consider the question number 1. Which is a part of MCQ. But question number 2, you can write that the question number 2 is totally 15 marks question. So you are going to achieve CO1 out of it, and which students have got how much. CO3, it is going to achieve CO4, and how much marks have been attained by the students. Actually, this sheet, actually I have taken it from Professor Ratan Shah. Ratan sir used to make this practice whenever our offline examination system practice was there. From that time also after evaluating each answer script, he used to create one Excel sheet where he used to put that question wise how much marks have been attained by the students. So it's a good practice basically to attain the POCOs. So I have taken help from his sheet, and from that I tried to show you. I'm trying to show you how we are going to attend the POCO. So I have given only 10 I have taken only 10 students marks as a sample for you, and I have pasted over here the same copy from there. 60 students are there. From there I have taken only 10 students. Okay, now from the 10 students, first I am checking that CO1 is achieved by which questions. So I can see that CO1 is achieved by question number 2 and question number 5. Okay, now in question number 2 and 5, collectively students have scored how much marks. So based on this, out of 30, so how much marks the students have got, that I have written over there, and in percentage, how much percentage the students have achieved. Now, if the students and the one benchmark that you need to think in the department level, or the in the university level, that if it is being achieved more than 50%, if a particular question is scored by the more than 60% students, and if they have scored more than 50%, you can give the CO attainment level as 3. If it is 30 to 50%, you can give 2, and if it is less than 30%, you can give 1. So in this way, so how much percentage the students have scored for a particular set of question which is mapped with CO1. So based on this, we are writing that the students have, through these students, we are going to achieve CO1 in this way. So in this way, we have to create CO2, CO3. So this part I have kept it blank so that I can expect the other faculty members will fill it up through the workshop kind of thing, and the total the COs, that is the CO1 is achieved is 2.5, CO2 is achieved is 2.8. The entire calculation is with me, but I have deleted in the entire portion so that I can keep it for you for your practice. Okay, so in this way I am going to achieve CO1, CO2, CO3, CO4 and CO5. Now I will use this one and the course articulation matrix to determine the PO1. Now, how to achieve the PO1? The PO1 calculation is that how much, what is the CO1 achievement? That is 2.5. And what is its weight? That is 3. So it should be 2.5 into 3. And what is the CO2 score? 2.8. And what is its weight? That is 3. So it should be 2.8 into 3. And what is CO3 achieved? CO3 achieved is 2.7. And what is its weight? That is 2. So it should be 2.7 into 2. So in this way, CO1 to CO5 for PO1. So what is its weightage level and how much it has been scored? So I will calculate the entire thing and I will divide it by 3 plus 3 plus 2 plus 2 plus 3. So I will get this marks. So in this way, I am going to achieve PO1 is 2.76, PO2 is 2.75, PO3 is 2.9, PO4 is 2.78, PO5 is 2.7, PO9 is 2.9. And if you make an average, so this will be your PO attainment for that particular course. So if it is more than 2, you can say that the PO is achieved. Again, it depends upon the university, so what benchmark they are going to take. So this is all about my presentation. I wanted to show you few examples, and if you want to carry forward, if you want to practice on the blank portion, you are certainly welcome, and I'm there to help you out in this regard. So this is my presentation. So I can expect a few questions regarding this. If you have any question, you can ask me.
Dr. Sajal.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Actually, I don't know the scale. Usually we go for 5-point scale or 3-point scale. So which is convenient for the faculties who are going to begin with?
Actually, I have seen the most of the universities either they are taking a 3-point scale or taking 100. So out of 100, the percentage wise. So we can take it 3, but and actually it will be you have to take the decision that which point scale you want to take, and all the university, all the schools have to adapt with that one only.
Yeah, so what I feel that if we select initially 3-point scale, so that
Yeah.
would be convenient for the faculties to, right, to
Yes.
interpret. And
Because
then
you get more examples, and not only one thing, and another thing
yeah,
also I find out that if we take 100-point scale, that case you have to take the decimal points also. So in the if you take the decimal points again, sometimes we find out that the for slight differences, the calculation becomes a cumbersome one. And if it is a 3-point scale, the calculation becomes much more easier. That is my personal assessment only.
no, that if you take 3-point scale, I think the subjectivity will be more,
Yeah.
but accuracy will be limited. But if you take
Yes.
5-point
Yes.
scale, the accuracy will be good, but
Good.
you know,
Yes.
that vice versa.
You are,
Yeah, right? No?
yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Right. You are
Okay.
right.
Actually, 3-point scale will, yes, as you said, subjectivity will be less. So, then there will be more uniformity will come between one faculty and another. Otherwise,
Hmm.
5, I might rate it 4, somebody might feel it is 3. So, it
Exactly.
is that variation will become too much. So, I think
Yes.
1, 2, 3 is a very good, and simple, quite simple.
Yes. Yes. You are right. It's a very good suggestion. A few things, few benchmark we need to decide in the university level, and we have to create one SOP also regarding this at the time of designing that POCU. You are right.
So actually, what we can do is that now I think everybody has understood what is required to be done, but it will need a little bit of a hands-on practice, one session at
Yes.
least. So we can have a workshop, maybe department-wise, we can have one workshop which will cover this POCO attainment from the defining of POCO to calculating the attainment. Then
Exactly.
also we can also look at the instructional design, which we discussed in the first lecture. So these two things we can discuss during the workshop. So maybe we can organize department-wise workshop, and maybe 1 hour or 2 hours. I think that will bring more hands-on experience. So I think that will be better.
Right.
That will
Exactly.
clarify all more doubts. Maybe as we do,
Yes.
we may come across more doubts.
And also, sir, I suggest to all the faculty members that we need to practice with mapping. Apart from mapping POC, also we need to practice the mapping of BT also, Bloom's taxonomy.
Yeah.
Though it is not required directly for POCO mapping, but indirectly it is required.
No, it is required. In this itself, we can incorporate, as you have done in your example. We can do it along with that, and
Yes.
also defining the Bloom's taxonomy for the question papers is also very important.
Yes,
So that,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
So we'll do that in the workshop, and then maybe we'll